How is everybody doing today? The big news just dropped that Jim Harbaugh is being suspended for the remainder of the regular season. What do they have left? At Penn State, at Maryland, at home against Ohio State. Two ranked teams, two top 10 teams at that. One of them on the road, and that's tomorrow. The timing of this could not be worse for the Michigan football program. If you guys want to go to my TikTok so that way you guys can have further discussion with me, go to Bachelor CFB Show on TikTok and certainly comment, like, and subscribe down below because opinion plus discussion equals community. We're trying to build a community. Harbaugh suspended for the remainder of the regular season is the headline here. Interested to see who the interim coach is going to be. But for all you Michigan fans that are going to talk about the lawsuit that Michigan and Ward Manuel is going to have, I think that letter did them no favors, first off. Tony Petitti might have just been like, you know what? We're doing this. And Tony Petitti would not be doing this unless they have every right to do this. He's a Harvard law grad. He's not going to be speaking out of terms about what they legally can do. And Tony Petitti, by all coaches across the Big Ten, has been pressured to do so. This is a big precedent set for what other conferences can do in the future as we go to this super conference type of model. We're getting 18 in the Big Ten next year. We're getting 16 in the SEC. They're adding SMU, Cal, and Stanford out in the ACC. You're adding a handful of teams to make it 16 in the Big 12 next year as well. So in the super conference era, it gives a lot more power to the conferences, and we kind of knew that this would happen. And now this sets a certain precedent that the conferences have more power than you think. Now, I actually think there's an off chance, a very minimal chance, that Michigan just doesn't listen to the Big Ten and they let Harbaugh coach anyway to set a point to the Big Ten. But for all of you guys thinking that they're going to leave the Big Ten, the answer is no. They are much better financially in the Big Ten, regardless on sanctions and all that stuff. And do you think that they're going to win a lawsuit? The answer is no. They're not going to win any sort of lawsuit in this situation. So what exactly can Michigan do? Take their punches. That's all they can do. Whether or not you think he should be suspended, he is. And at the end of the day, I don't even think that he should necessarily be suspended because of the fact that I think you could be looking at something bigger as far as a whole entire football program. And this isn't necessarily all on Jim Harbaugh, but it's Jim Harbaugh's program. But isn't that the point of this? The reason why it's justified to be able to suspend him, even if I'm surprised, a little bit shocked, and maybe thinking that that was a little bit of a jump the gun type of reaction by the Big Ten. This is still Jim Harbaugh's football program. And even if he didn't know from a job standpoint, really that makes it worse because head coaches need to know everything happening in their football program. And the fact of the matter is, this guy was able to take a bunch of money to go to 40 games through the last couple of years. He wasn't making the salary to do that on his own, so he got help from somebody, and it may have been the university. It may just have been the university helping him out. It may just have been the football program helping him out. So as the NCAA investigation goes even deeper, I think there's going to be more details on how Connor Stalions was able to obtain this money and how much is suspected that Jim Harbaugh knew. But whether he knew or not doesn't matter, okay? This is a situation where the head coach needed to know. Everybody, all you Michigan fans wanted to jump on Urban Meyer for what he did or did not know with the whole Zach Smith case, which turns out, by the way, in hindsight, 5 years later, that there is still no evidence that anything happened in that Zach Smith case. And yet you were taking shots at Urban Meyer talking about how he should be suspended and how we shouldn't wait for due process in that situation. What changed? Is it because it's your team? Be consistent here. I think due process should have played out. I think the Big Ten jumped the gun a little bit. Is there anything we can do about it? Absolutely not. So moving forward, I have not seen any news yet on who Michigan's going to name as the interim head coach. I would think Mike Hart, Sherrod Moore. Those are probably the two front runners, with Jesse Minter being very closely linked to this. And Sherrod Moore, quite honestly, very closely linked too. So my gut instinct tells me Mike Hart is going to be the interim head coach for the Michigan Wolverines. And I am very curious to see how the Michigan Wolverines come out and play tomorrow without their head coach. Do they play super motivated? Are they on schedule? Are they on time? Or are they going to be affected by not having their head coach on the sideline? Comment down below and let me know what kind of impact this makes on the rest of the season and whether or not you think Jim Harbaugh should have been suspended. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Like I said, like and subscribe. Enjoy the weekend of college football, and we'll see you guys next time.